Hi, welcome to Witchways, and today I'm going to be talking about fall equinox magic and some things that you can do around that. In the description below the video, I have some resources for you, the names of some of the deities I'm going to be talking about, some equity resources, and some upcoming classes that I'm offering. So enjoy. So what is fall equinox about? It's halfway in between summer solstice and winter solstice. It is the time when the crops in the field are bursting with produce and earth's abundance. And it is the middle of the three European-based harvest festivals. The first being Lammas, which is first fruits. The second and most prolific and most abundant being fall equinox, and then the third being Samhain, which is sort of marks the end of the harvest season. It's also the time of equal day and equal night. A shift between the upper, more outward, expansive time of summer and into the more inward, focused, reflective time at the bottom half of the year. It's also a time to assess balance, to weigh what you have to share with community and what you need to reserve for yourself in times ahead. So what types of magic should we do at fall equinox? I think that it's a time for people to offer gratitude to the earth and the land for what we've received this year. And one option and one way to do that is to create a harvest altar. And you can take produce, fruits, grains, nuts, anything that you are grateful for, decorate it with seasonal flowers, and then charge a small birthday candle or a tea light with the intention of gratitude. Feel that in your heart and let that flow into the candle. Place it on the altar and let it burn. You also can just put a little bit of any food that you cook on the table as an offering and light and charge that candle and let it burn down. You can also just create that altar outdoors and be sure to add some things that birds might want, like seeds, and then just leave that food there for the animals to take. Another option I like to do that is on the side of what you have to give is to take extra produce or canned goods and create an area, maybe in a local park, where people can just come and take food if it's needed. I like to take herbs or water or flowers and make an inconspicuous circle around that food with the intention that those who need food can find it. All over the world at this time of year or whenever harvest is in various parts of the world, people get together with family and friends and community to celebrate the harvest. This is another piece of magic that you can do. Invite those close to you to have a feast with you. And before it starts, pre-charge a candle with abundance and gratitude. Also have a beverage of your choice that's kind of special ready. Once everyone has assembled, light the candle and have glasses filled with special beverage, the special beverage you prepared, and go around the circle. And each person takes a sip, passes the glass to the next person, and says, "May you never hunger, may you never thirst." If there's contagion concerns due to COVID or colds or flus, you can also just have everyone take a glass and one person starts and sips and then touches their glass to the next person's glass and says, "May you never hunger," or "May you never thirst." Another variant on this, if that still feels too risky or you don't want to do that for some reason, is that everyone has a glass filled with beverage, and then the host lights the candle and says, "May you never hunger, may you never thirst," and takes a sip. And everyone else raises their glass and says, "May you never hunger, may you never thirst," and takes a sip. This is also an especially good time of year to do reparations work, support work, and magic to help restore balance in the world. And one example of that would be that since so many of the foods that we harvest at this time of year, like squash and tomatoes and peppers and corn, are indigenous to Mesoamerica and these continents, you could do some magic around making a donation to a Native American group. And again, I have some resources for that in the description below. And you can also offer a wish as you write that check out or make that donation, that those peoples survive and thrive in the ways that they choose to live. Visualize your donation being magnified and going out everywhere. It's a great time of year to do any kind of kitchen witch magic, putting charms and blessings on any food you create. And I'm going to do a whole public class about that a little later in the year, I think in November. And it's also a good time to do any work that you want to do around balancing your life. And so one way that could look is before you go to bed, create a small altar. It can be a very simple altar, just a small candle and maybe some black and white cloth to represent the different sides of your life that need to be balanced. Or you could create an altar that has one half side be really ripe and abundant produce, and the other half has really lovely, but maybe a little more mature, dried flowers and seed heads, dried leaves, and create that altar between those two things with the holding the intention of balance in your life. For example, the produce side could represent outward focused energy, excitement, receiving, and the dried item side could represent more inward or quiet or nourishing time, more rest, more giving, asking for wisdom. And you could make one side bigger if you wanted, if that seemed right intuitively to you. This is one of those cases where it's really good to make it personal to you and what your needs are and how you perceive the balance in your life needing to be. Once you have finished that and determined what your purpose is with each side of the altar, you can place a stick between them, crossing them to represent a bridge and the balance that's required so things can flow back and forth with ease. And then light a small candle, just breathe your intention into it of needing balance, place it on the altar and let it burn. So if you work with spirits or with deity, who do we call in at this time of year? First of all, you can call in any deity who is a grain, land, earth, or harvest deity of your own lineage. And I'll give just a few examples. For instance, Celtic deities that you might call on, and there's many more than this, would be the Celtic god Lugh, who is the patron god of Lammas, first fruits, and skills and talents. You could call on his foster mother, Tailtu, who is the goddess who brought agriculture to the land. And also people sometimes associate the Dagda, who's sort of a father figure god, but he also is just often just simply referred to as the good god. A few more examples would be, if you are Italian or Roman, you might want to call on Ceres, the goddess of grain. Norse or Germanic, you might want to call on Freya. If you happen to be a descendant of Northeastern African peoples, you might want to call on the androgynous god Neper. I feel weird even using the word god because they're androgynous. And I hope I got that pronunciation correct. I looked it up, and so I hope that being forgives me if I do not get their pronunciation exactly right. Over time, that deity was absorbed and became part of Osiris's persona. I'm not super knowledgeable about them, but for those of you who are Japanese, I know that Inari, Okami, is a gender fluid deity who is associated with rice and grain. The next class that I have coming up is a deep dive into divination. It's a rare in-person class where we'll be doing lots of different divination techniques. And so I'm also going to put the names of the deities and links to my upcoming workshops and those equity resources in the description below. I hope you enjoyed watching. Put questions in the comment, like and subscribe, and please be well.